Welcome to Film Caffeine, where this is your true crime podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the murder of innocent women in Gotham City.
Ah, yes.
Yep. Don't we just let's go into a play-by-play of one of these murders? Ah! Ah!
I think
Ah!
a part of my soul just instantly got murdered myself, but what do I know?
Ah!
Yes,
Oh,
we are
sorry.
reviewing Gotham by Gaslight.
We are. We're doing another review. This is going to be a shorter episode of the podcast. Um, and that's okay because no one listens to this shit, so no one will care. And if you do care and you do listen to this shit, why? Why are you listening? Shouldn't you go listen something else like Steve Butler's calculus reviews?
Oh
Those who get that
God,
joke
you
get
just
that
you
joke.
just you just doxed us so
We
hard.
doxed people who listen will get it, and people who don't listen will not. That didn't make any sense.
No, you're implying that people who do listen know us, and people who don't listen don't know us. Like enough to know that joke. Wow, I didn't make any sense there either. So I'm
Exactly.
just
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
stop.
So we're
I,
we're gonna Gotham by Gaslight. This
right.
movie. Um
It's good. It's really good. It is a interpretation of Batman that I think encapsulates a lot of what Batman is supposed to be like.
exactly. This movie to because I watched this movie a long time ago and then I showed it to you, right? So
Right.
technically we should have done this review like 2 years ago, but the channel wasn't existing 2 years ago, so the review would not I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole either. But
Yes.
this movie one thing that like because you're known infamously by everyone in the DC community, right? Like you're a popular figure, right, Scribe?
I am.
And you were
I am.
and you were known for shitting on DC, right? You shit on DC.
Wait. Why are you saying this like I'm known? People know me?
You are. Everyone knows who you are.
I
And
I joined this channel because I knew it wasn't gonna go anywhere. Now you're telling
Zack,
me it went somewhere?
Zack Snyder is coming for you.
That's
Do you
okay.
hear the knocks at your door?
No, I hear the gunshot noises.
That's him. That's him, right? Okay, but you're known for not really liking a lot of DC properties. I know you like some of them, but you're like mainly specifically the Batman ones. So then I'm known for like, hey, did you check out this thing or this other DC thing? And then you going, yeah, I did, but DC sucks, right? And this is like one of those first times, not first times. I've shown you some DC shit that you've liked, but like this is one of those times where I've shown you something and you go, oh shit, that was good. So like the DC, like even I like aspects of their main imprint of comics and stuff like that in their current main universe. I don't like all of it. I think it gets really convoluted. But the thing DC does the best, the thing it does the best has always been Elseworlds and Elseworlds storylines. And this is one example of that. There are other I can't say the word Elseworlds. There are other Elseworld stories that maybe even better than this, but the idea of Batman in this time period like fits just like perfectly
hmm
because it can still stay Batman without being really cringy and shit, right?
Yes. Now, off the bat, I noticed in this movie that they took the time to use the setting to their advantage, right?
Hmm.
Because, as I said to you after watching the movie, that there's a certain old timey feel to having a investigation, a detective mission, or anything like that in the 1800s, early 1900s, the pre-computer, information era, pre-modern era, right? There's
Hmm.
something aesthetically, I suppose, entertaining about, say, your main protagonist having to work for his information, right? Now, today's problems can be solved with a simple Google search. You pass it into a lab. Vigilantism is kind of like non-existent today for the sole reason that it, like, you know guns, and
Hmm.
the fact that the cops and the militia and the National Guard, anything that is necessary, vigilantism is quite almost impossible. The only representation of vigilantism of like the street level that I've seen played at least like realistically is Daredevil and Punisher. Even then, they put some unrealistic things in there. So having it set in the setting where in like the 1890s or 1880s, wherever Gaslight takes place,
Hmm.
I think
I
it's
think
a
it's
really
the
good job.
it's the it's the late 80s, right? Like right after the Civil War.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. Um,
All right. This review for the first part, I didn't even tell you this, is going to be non-spoiler for like half of it. After that, we'll get into spoilers. But like first off, just like general thoughts about the movie. Um, Animation. I thought it was great. I like the look of his suit. At first I wasn't so keen on the look of the eyes, but over time I sort of grew to enjoy it. I like that it's blue, even though I think in the comics technically it is like black. I do like the look of blue. For some reason, like in the contrast of all this sepia tone in this world, the blue sort of like it doesn't stick out, but like it perfectly just fits into like what you would think Batman is.
and,
Um,
and I want to point out that Batman is more Batman in this than I've seen him in other interpretations in terms of his detective
yeah.
attributes.
There is one
He,
moment too, like later on in the movie, that I'm like, oh, that's cool what they did, and I'll talk about that later. But yeah, when in terms of the characteristics of Batman, there is also again not sort of animation related, but like there is a thing that Batman uses towards the end of the movie, and when it happens, I go, oh yeah. I go like that. Like literally, that was my reaction. So
yeah,
there are moments like that in this movie, and I think that's like animation wise, it's not great, but it does a great job. Like even like I didn't notice this, but like background is like always that like consistent sort of sepia tone that reminds me of the animated series. You know, where
right.
it's always red skies and shit like that. That
Right.
I like that. Anything else
I
to talk about animation, I guess?
The action scenes are well animated as well. There's not one take, so to say, but definitely wide shots where you can see the action play out, and it's so the sort of vibe that you get from this movie is very much like it's a very small scale detective adventure, right? But it still feels grand and epic in a way, right? And
Hmm.
it's sort of hard to explain. It's sort of like how one of the I think I said this to you the other day, but once upon a time, wow, okay, English. Once Upon a Time in the West is considered one of the first, or actually the first spaghetti western, right? It's
Hmm.
the thing that inspired that genre. And after that, the whole trench coats, the dust, all that tumbleweed and all that stuff. Now, that movie is considered a Western epic, even though the story is very small scale. So, like, you when you think epic, you think like Lord of the Rings, world-ending, endgame level events. But I would still consider this a epic in the sense that it's portrayed with a certain sense of grandiose that you might not expect from a singular story such as this. It's hard to pinpoint. It's a very different feel than say a normal say Arkham game, right? Because Arkham game
Hmm.
had a very huge like the entire eastern seaboard for Arkham Knight, but it was definitely a more personal plot. Like it was about the psychology. But this movie is about a little bit of that, but also it portrays this small scale plot, especially in the final, act, as very large scale, and it does it very well.
Hmm. Yeah, I think even like this is a weird praise as well, but like Foley noise too is pretty well. I remember distinctly the crack of not spoiler. Catwoman's in this movie. Is that a surprise? She's in the trailers, so
Yeah.
Catwoman's in this movie, and there is a scene where she uses a whip. I like succinctly remembered like the whip sounds and those being
Oh
like
yeah.
really good.
Like
So
like
yeah,
it's very
yeah,
very
that
powerful.
and that's hard to replicate, especially with a low budget. So I like that. That's somewhat like really specific, but What else? Score. There isn't much to say about the score other than that it's like it doesn't feel it doesn't stick out, which is good for something like this, where you want it to like set you in the mood of like this era, and is a
Mhm.
good job of that. I remember the score being particularly well towards the end of the movie at certain points.
Yeah.
What else? That's like technicalities. In terms of story, there isn't certain characters we can talk about without spoilers. Like, well, I mean, Batman's great. Batman is still Batman in this movie, and I enjoyed that. And I think that's what you were talking about too. Is he feels like the most Batman that you've ever felt, just because like this is a Batman that like you go into detail about why you love this characteristic of or
I mean, I think
characterization
the
of Batman.
biggest thing is, to be put bluntly, I can just say that it's a Batman story that assumes you know what Batman is, right? So it doesn't
Hmm.
need to go, and even the time setting, it doesn't need because even if the time setting is different, it does not need to reiterate like the Nolan films. It does not need to reiterate like every, goddamn film out there. They have to they just jump you right into the middle of one of his missions, right? It's just one
Hmm.
case out of all the cases he's done. So it's sort of when they jump right in, you as a viewer have to kind of choose your own interpretation of his origin story, which I mean they're all the same. It's just minor differences here and there, like the Mask of Zorro versus the Mask of Zorro in Nolan films, where it's like he blames himself. It's like that stuff is not important, but you can like have your own headcanon. But it's just like they don't stress about his whole no kill rule. They don't stress about why he does this. He's just doing it, and this is one of his many cases. And so it's sort of
Yeah,
like,
where you would feel like a story like this, they would be like, ah, Batman is in this era, so now we're gonna change him to be like exactly like Sherlock Holmes, where he's like
yeah,
like quippy and stuff like that, because that's how Sherlock Holmes is. No, he's not. He's like he's still Batman, and everything is
yeah,
still Batman. The thing is that sounds like it's not taking good opportunity of the time setting it's in, but no, it does. It
it
takes
does, it does.
it with Easter eggs and all sorts of like little nods and hints here and there. It takes good advantage of the fact that it's in that like Chicago World Fair sort of setting, but at the same time, it's still doing enough service to the character that is Batman that it doesn't feel like it's just like
Right.
a not Batman story. Whereas
Like for
some of the
example,
Elseworlds don't feel like Batman stories. They feel
like
like stories that you could just substitute Batman for someone else and it would still make sense. No, this still feels like a very true Batman story. And I think this is sort of a tangent, but like I know that the Matt Reeves Batman movie is taking inspiration from Long Halloween, Dark Victory, some other runs of Batman where he's a like detective-y runs of Batman, maybe Black
yes,
Mirror, I'm not 100% sure, and then also Gotham by Gaslight.
right.
So that like it's not, of course it's not taking place in the fucking 1890s. He has a muscle car in the new look, but the nod to that is nice, and I look forward to Matt Reeves' Batman specifically because it's still going to feel like very Batman. It's not going to do something
Yeah.
drastic with the character.
Now I will also say that part of what makes this story work is the sort of the individuality, and not just from the time period, but as I said, it's just one of his many cases. It just happens to be this one that they're talking about. Yeah, there's like a few important things that go down, of course, right? Like very major. I'm not going to get into that. Like very major, quote unquote, status quo changing events.
Hmm.
But in the grand scheme of things, it's the same as like say to take from other stories. Witcher 3 is about a very personal story of Geralt and his surrogate daughter, but the DLCs are very just it's a Witcher contract. It's just one of his adventures, right? It's one
Hmm.
of his contracts. Likewise in Percy Jackson, the Demigod Diaries. It's just they're not really world-ending catastrophic events. It's just one of his adventures that he happens to be on, and that's the sort of almost like an episodic thing, if that makes any sense, like the monster
Hmm.
of the week kind of thing. That's essentially what this is. It's just zoom in onto one of his many adventures, albeit one that happens to change a few things, but they can do that because it's an Elseworld thing and they're not going to come back to it, so they can kind of just go all out.
Hmm.
But it still
Yeah,
feels
and yeah,
bad.
it feels like it doesn't. Bruce Wayne himself, like, although it is a very big film in terms of like, if this were the mainstream version of Batman, this would be a very big film. But still, it doesn't change Batman. It feels like Batman. So,
Mhm.
and that's strange because I think we've said it feels like Batman so many times that we're turning into a fucking IGN review. But
9 out of 10 makes you something a little something for everyone.
yep, the levels suck. Playability is rough. 9 out of 10. Something for everyone.
Watch
Um,
IGN just buy us out and then just collapse our
if
channel because we said
if
this.
IG not to go on this tangent, but if IGN offered to buy Film Caffeine, how much would we say?
Are we worth that much to have a say?
No, okay, but
What's
like
our net
how much?
revenue? Like 2 cents?
No, not
Um,
even that. You have to have 1K subscribers to get any money, so
oh,
0.
that's a big rip. Yeah. So how much would we say? I mean, hell, you know me. I'll just freaking ramp up the price and see when they'll break, and then it's like the little annoyance meter from Witcher 3. It's like you keep bargaining, and then they get more annoyed and
Mhm.
annoyed until they just break. So
You know
I'll
what? No, you know what I would do? I'd
yeah.
pull a Michael Scott on them. If you don't know this, in The Office, minor spoilers for The Office. Michael goes out and he quits the company. He's the
Oh
boss, right? Steve Carell. He
yeah.
goes out, he quits the company. He takes Pam and Ryan with him, right? And he makes his competing company, and it's called Michael Scott Paper Company. And the office is literally like the downstairs office of the main company.
Oh
it's
God.
it's funny. And what happens is they have such low prices on their paper that they are beating out everyone else, right?
Mhm.
Including Dunder Mifflin, the parent, like they're his old company. But the problem is their prices are so low that they can't afford to like stay in business. So they're gonna go out of business really soon. But then from Dunder Mifflin's perspective, they're like, oh shit. So we need to like buy these guys as soon as we can. Otherwise they're gonna take all our business, right? So then they go up to this meeting like as if they have some say. But like they're going to take the offer, whatever the fuck it is, because they're going out of business. But then Michael Scott, like at the last minute, does a thing where he says, forfeit all the money, just give us all our jobs back. And then they say yes, and they get all their jobs back.
So
That's what I
nothing
would do.
happens. So nothing
So
happens.
they just get their jobs back, and it's back to normal. All the clients are back, everything is normal. In fact, they get more clients because they went out and reached to more clients. But
Oh wow. Okay.
here's the thing. That's what I would do with IGN. I'd be like, "Hey, give me a job and I'll give you this entire thing." And I just do it like that.
Okay,
Like
but
maybe
like
Film Caffeine is an IGN subsidiary, and then like we get like direct paychecks from IGN. That would be that would be lit, but then I would be looped in with IGN, which would suck.
I think the fact that you said that means we're never gonna get looped
Yeah,
in
we're
with
never
IGN.
gonna.
They're gonna go back to this one video and just be like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
They're kind of speaking crap about us.
yeah. It's the same reason why I will never get bought by Disney because I shit on Frozen 2.
Oh,
So
that's okay. I mean,
into
are,
bankruptcy.
are we really gonna bend the knee to the mouse overlord?
I mean, I shit on the mouse a lot, but honestly, yeah.
Honestly, we always call Mickey a mouse. But as an insult, has anyone thought of calling him a rat? Just as an insult? Like just say
No,
like,
they haven't.
"Ah, you're vermin." I'm gonna make that Mickey the rat.
I
The
mean,
rat
good luck.
overlord.
Good luck. You'll get demonetized. Well, you won't get demonetized by Disney. I'll get demonetized by Disney. Oh fuck.
It's
But
okay,
yeah, no.
just believe. Anyways,
Yeah.
back to Gaslight. Now,
Gaslight. I guess this review is that joke doesn't even work. The fuck.
I think you don't work. Anyways, so wow, I think I just broke these
I guess you
feelings.
could say Disney is gaslighting us.
I don't
In
think you know what gaslight means.
Gaslight means to manipulate by psychological means into questioning their own sanity.
I feel like you Googled that, like right now.
No.
Okay, because that was way too perfect
In
of
a
like.
sentence, for example, in the first episode, Karen Valentine is being gaslighted by her husband. It's also a gerund or present participle. Gaslighting. That is the present participle. It is a verb.
So this review has now formed into a grammar session where Mithy, the grammar teach, shall teach us all of it.
You know why
But
we're going off into these tangents?
why?
Because there's not much to talk about unless we get into the plot and spoilers.
All right, spoiler
So,
alert!
spoiler alert,
Spoiler alert!
you fuckos. Get the fuck off this video, watch the movie, and come back. You
All
know what's
right.
funny? Everyone who says watch the video and come back, they all leave the video, go watch the thing, but they never come back.
I mean, I don't know. I just keep watching. Anyways, so because I've probably
Okay.
already watched the thing that
Spoiler
I watched.
alert. Three, two,
2, 1.
1.
Jim
Batman
Gordon
is
is
the killer
actually
the entire time.
well. That's not the spoiler. Jim
That's
Gordon is actually the killer the entire time. Believe it or
Wait,
not.
what? Scribe, did you just spoil Gaslight for me? Jim Gordon is the murderer? The entire Oh my
I
you
made
you
it. I made
piece
a
of
meme.
shit.
I
You
made a
piece of
meme while
shit.
back. I made a meme while back that I'm kind of proud of because it was my first meme that I made, and it was back when the surprise Pikachu face was still a thing, and it was that meme format, and it said when you spoil Endgame by watching Endgame, and I posted
You
this
realize
after.
how unoriginal of a joke that is? Like now, at least. Maybe back then it was mildly original.
See,
No,
I
it's just
felt pretty proud of it because I didn't see anything like that, and it was original for me, as in like I didn't see it before. I don't know. I was pretty proud.
no, congratulations. The joke sucks.
Uh,
But
so do
yeah,
you,
no,
but
Jim Gordon is the murderer.
yes, and he is quite terrifying, and also basically a goddamn heretic.
He is an incel. Like he's the definition of an incel.
And he has a wife. He's literally at every
Yeah.
incel's dream.
Yeah, he's like he has a wife. He he beats his wife.
He burns his
He
wife.
he burns his wife. Yeah, I thought it was just acid, right? But I mean, it
Oh, I
still
mean,
hurt.
burn, acid,
Yeah,
corrode.
same
Well,
thing.
what's
Yeah.
the difference?
He hit
Flesh
her
is
with that.
flesh.
He slam dunked her with that coronavirus.
I mean, not really.
No, it's not.
um, so now other characters that other than Batman that we can go over. I think
Yeah, before we
Catwoman.
get into Jim Gordon, Catwoman is
Catwoman.
good. I like the characterization because she is different than modern Catwoman, right? But she fits Catwoman for the era. She's not excuse the offensive language. She's not quite a slut by the connotation of those in that time period, right? Because she is intelligent, she is capable, but she puts it on the down low because she has to present herself as, that version like of a slut to appease to some men. Like we see that with Harvey Dent. Should we talk about Harvey Dent first? Let's talk about Harvey Dent first.
He's kind of a sleaze bag.
I love Harvey Dent in this. He's such a sleaze, and it's like he has
Honestly,
and he's not even like comic book Harvey Dent. He is not like anything like a Harvey Dent you would imagine. It's just they wanted a character to play off of Bruce and Selena. So they got a guy, and then they're like, oh, that's Harvey Dent. Why not? And I respect that because it's like they're obviously not going to make a sequel or anything like that. So there's not too much you can do with this universe other than speak specific key things and Easter eggs. So I admire that they're like, oh, Harvey Dent, he's a sleaze. Why not?
then there's the nun,
The
the
Nun,
sister.
Sister Leslie.
Yes,
I love Sister Leslie. First of all, I love the dynamic at the beginning of the movie between Sister Leslie, Bruce, and Jim Gordon. Like that scene on the carriage where they're just riding on the carriage and he's just like, ah, I wonder what your business is gonna be, brunette, redhead, or blonde. And then Sister Leslie's like, oh, Jim, please, it's blonde. I just that scene is just
it's
it
fun. I actually want to go watch the movie again and see if the Jim Gordon's next kill is actually a blonde or not. That'd be pretty funny if it was.
that would be pretty fucking funny. He
So
kills.
Sister Leslie indirectly just caused the death of a random blonde.
Yeah, no, and it's weird because it's like I want more of you know how like The Dark Knight first and foremost is a story about Batman, Gordon, and Harvey Dent, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
honestly want to make a video about like everyone talks about how the Joker is the best part of the movie, and I agree the Joker is the best part of the movie, but I personally love the characterization of Harvey Dent more, and I feel like he is the crux of the movie. Even though Joker is the anarchist and he is the one that puts everything into motion,
Well,
Harvey
like
is like the
one of my favorite scenes in the movie, is when both Batman, or not both, but Batman, Gordon, and
and yeah,
Harvey
they're on the
are all
roof,
like,
right?
yeah, they're all roof, and they're like discussing, and it's like, holy crap, they're working together, like
Because
they're like three
that's
sides
what
of the
he
law,
direct because
or
that's
not law.
directly what they took from Long Halloween. Long Halloween was first and foremost a story about the relationship between Batman, Jim Gordon, and Harvey Dent, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Harvey Dent falls to the side of Two-Face, and that's what makes Batman and Gordon upset. But Batman chooses to continue on his life, right? Like
yeah.
that's in my opinion the strongest part because the movie has that moment. It has moments with Harvey Dent, and the ending of the movie is like it's about the Joker, but it's about Batman, Gordon, and Harvey Dent.
Well,
That was the
okay,
like the
so
emotional.
get this, I suppose. Here's this comparison, and maybe you won't get it because you haven't seen Pirates of the Caribbean, but maybe you will. Who knows? But Joker to that movie is the same as Captain Jack Sparrow is to the good guys.
Yeah, I
Like
sort of get that comparison. Yeah.
like Captain Jack Sparrow isn't the main character, but he's a very very important character. Joker isn't necessarily the main villain. Like he's the one that pushes everything from the villain side, right? Like
Hmm.
he's definitely the like you go to watch that movie for the Joker, right? You go to watch Pirates of the Caribbean for Captain Jack Sparrow, but neither of them are like the main crux of the story, the spine of the story, right? Because the
Hmm.
spine of the story comes into the collapse of the faith of Gotham, whether White Knight versus Dark Knight, the corruption and all that stuff. Some a beacon of hope that is incorruptible and then gets corrupted. That's the message that it sends. Joker is the one, as he says himself, a mad dog chasing cars. He just happens to. I mean, he has a plan, so to say. But you get my point. It's in fact Joker, like from a narrative, like a machine kind of point of view, is the same that Jack Sparrow is, except he's for the bad guys and Jack Sparrow is
Hmm.
for the quote unquote good guys.
Yeah.
So it's quite
Again,
interesting.
that's a separate analysis. I just wanted to bring that up because I sort of like initially saw that with Leslie, Jim, and Bruce, where it's like they could be like the trio of like the church, um the government, I guess, with the police, and then also Batman, right? Like I thought that's
Just
what they
Batman.
were. Yeah, I thought that was what they're going for, but then they instantly kill Leslie, and I think that's fine because it's just I wanted something and they didn't go that direction, and that's
Well,
why,
also
you
even
know.
the trio that you wanted isn't much of a trio when one of them's dead, one of them is the one that's the killer that they were looking for the entire time, and the other one's Batman.
Yeah.
So it's like not much of a trio there.
Yeah, the trio more becomes like Batman, Selina, and Gordon, I guess. But even they're
Well,
not
not
a
even
trio.
Gordon. Not even Gordon. I would say it's just Batman and Selina for the most part.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
guess,
I guess
oh
that
wait,
does a good job to interplay.
speaking of trio, do we want to talk about Dick, Jason?
Dick, Todd, Dick, Todd,
Dick Todd, yes,
Dick, Jason, and Tim. I
yes.
like
Dick.
that Jason has red hair. I guess
Well,
that's her like
that's
little
canon.
like their
No, no, that's canonical. That he's supposed to have red hair originally, but then
no.
Batman, no, Batman makes him dye it black because he wants him to look like Robin, like the original Robin.
Wait, what?
Yep,
What?
that's a
How the
thing.
fuck do I not know this? What the fuck?
I believe they mentioned that in one of the Red Hood comics, where it might have actually been under the Red Hood, but I'm not sure. But he's like talking to someone. I don't know who. I think he's like angrily talking to one of the Bat family, and he says, Bruce made me dye my hair black because he wanted me to look more like Dick Grayson. And it's like he's got like it's very much like it's
I
very
didn't
much
even
fits his
I mean, that
arc.
fits his arc so much, but I didn't even fucking know that. God damn! I just thought that was like, oh, red hair because Red Hood. But
No, no, it
that's
was
actually that's cool. I didn't even fucking know that.
yeah. I'm pretty sure that's like I don't know if it's the case in all interpretations, but I'm pretty sure the fact that
At
he has
least
red
like the
hair.
mainstream comic interpretation, I guess.
Yeah,
Um,
but I mean he's always depicted with black hair now because one he always has the red hood on, and yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe dye doesn't come
And
off in
also,
the
that's
Lazarus
just like
pit.
the version of Jason everyone knows is the one like that, you know?
Yeah,
Sometimes
but
he even has like the little white
it's
flake of hair, like on the top. I see that.
it's supposed to be very pivotal to his. Although that might be the Lazarus pit, remember? But
Yeah.
yeah, that's very pivotal to his like whole daddy issues essentially of like his dad essentially wanting him to be more like his older brother, which is very much like in tune with his whole baggage, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Which, touching on this too, like they I like the Robin family in this just because they're not a big deal. They're just a little thing. It's
They're
really
just a
treated
nod.
more like an Easter egg, but like it's cool to just see them around. Like
I mean,
that's
they
that,
do have a plot relevance, but it's not ham-fisted, if that makes
yeah,
any
no,
sense.
it's and I like that tie, you know, because they like. Can we talk about it? The motorcycle. The motorcycle.
Right.
Oh God. So
Right.
technically, I guess canonically in this universe, Batman creates the first motorcycle, right?
I suppose,
Because
yeah.
I guess Henry Ford hasn't gone about doing his shit because everyone's still riding in chariots. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming basically in this universe, Henry Ford goes into hiding and renames himself Bruce Wayne and creates that was a bad rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like the motorcycle. I like
Yeah.
that it's so steampunk. You know what would have made that entire thing better?
What?
If when he rode the motorcycle, he wore circular steampunk glasses.
Oh yeah, that would be pretty funny. That'd be pretty
Honestly,
great.
circular steampunk glasses, just adding them to the overall outfit wouldn't be bad, but like it's good to see his eyes. But like just for that motorcycle bit, damn, if he had those cute little not cute, what the fuck? Those circular uh
Cute.
brass goggles, it would be so fucking cool. But yeah, that's just a me thing. Fingerprints. Did you notice this the first time? But he invents the technology of the theory of fingerprints.
I'm pretty sure they knew that. It's just they didn't know that everyone had unique ones because there's like 3 or 4 different types of fingerprints that everyone has, and
Yeah,
they didn't know that. So when you like just look at it like from like just in the light, like with your own eyes, you can see the patterns and you can identify which one you are. But
yeah.
then like if they like they're everyone has a unique one obviously, right? But like
Mhm.
back then they didn't know that, so back then they just assumed that if you're one of the same types they just assumed you were the same person. So like imagine being the same type as the killer, being singled out to check your fingerprint, and they're like, oh, fingerprint match. And then yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I like the idea that, like, I mean, I guess this takes it differently because in this one they just like devalue the idea of fingerprints entirely, so it's just Batman with his theories, right?
Yeah.
Um, if only he gotten Gordon's prints, he could have checked it and found out instantly. But instead, he has to go to their home and look at his jars of organs. Speaking
Yes.
of, should we get into the twist? Let's just get
Yes.
into it. Let's just jump into it. Ah, Jim Gordon. Of all the people, the saint himself, Jim Gordon.
Jim by the book Gordon,
Jim
as
by the motherfucking book Gordon. I
some
want him
people
in,
call him.
and I want it by the book. Yeah,
But
no. Jim,
yeah.
that I instant like the first time I watched I went, "Oh shit." Second time I watched it, I went, "I guess it's not that great." And then third time I watched it, I went back to, "Oh shit."
See, I can't imagine. I know this is Elseworld, so I'm not gonna like dock it points, but like I just personally, as a cup of tea, I can't imagine the Gotham, police department, like the Gotham show, Jim Gordon doing that. Like I just can't.
Yeah, because even
It.
I like turned to like Ben
Gary Oldman as
McCabe's.
well. Also, Gary Oldman. I just can't see him doing that either. Like I like none of
Yeah,
the
because our
actors.
portrayals of Jim Gordon has always been good. So then this one is just like,
It's jarring, but it works as a twist, I
mhm.
suppose.
Yeah.
Okay, now actually, there's really not much to say about that other than the fact that I think I want to get into critiques now. Okay.
I will say one thing, one
Yes.
one positive thing, that final action sequence is beautiful. It's fucking
Oh yeah.
beautiful. It's
Yeah, it is.
amazing. Also, just Jim Gordon's dialogue in terms of being the Ripper is so like it's calming because it sounds like Gordon, but he's a psychopath at the same time. So it's
Yeah.
like
It's
so cool
eerie.
for him to
It's
be like,
eerie. it's eerily terrifying
And he
and
feels like
sort of
such a threat. He feels like the punches that he lays on Batman are like it's two brawlers. The boxing gloves is honestly a good nod because they're having a boxing fight. They're not like I myself prefer my Batman when he's not technical, tactical, where he's like not much of a fighter but more of a skilled technician. That's how I prefer my Batman, right? Like my
right.
Batman is a version of Batman that not a lot of people agree with this may not necessarily be the best in hand-to-hand combat. Like Deathstroke could probably beat his ass, but with all the things like with all of his resourceful skills, he'll be able to maneuver around and fucking take him down in a unique way. That's like my version of Batman and my picture of Batman. Go watch my Arkham Knight video for more blatant chill. But I like that the idea that these two are just like brawling like
Duking
fucking
it out.
brutes like while this ferry is just going down.
Yeah. Now, critiques. I think with the Gordon twist, there is one huge glaring flaw from a perspective of just
Yep,
why.
you told me about this.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's the fact that they have that one little touching scene um, with him having the dream of Ripper, and then you know Jim Gordon waking up and comforting himself with his wife, and they're like having a moment. It's like, see, that's a good scene, but then you realize the twist, and you're like, wait a minute, why does that scene exist? Because they're alone. They don't have to show off for anyone. They're
Does it
completely
make
alone.
sense like he didn't treat it like a nightmare, but it was just a jarring moment for him to be like, "Oh,
No,
I'm
but
killing
like
my
the
wife."
guy, okay, but the guy that we were shown at the end was not the guy that we saw, and he's does not have split personality because he straight up just transitions into his thing like seamlessly. It's not like a split
Yeah, it's
personality.
very much that was his personality the entire time.
Yeah, and it's very
So
much, I
yeah,
think that was like just straight up the movie lying almost. Like red herrings is different, right? Red herrings is like they work because they're supposed to make you think they're the bad guy, but really it's just a coincidence or a different perspective that we don't know because we don't know the twist.
plus, that scene is so invested in the idea of like Batman and Gordon talking with each other like they would normally that like you completely lose focus of the fact that he just had a dream about the Ripper killing his wife.
But
What
he
did that
is the
fear
Ripper.
stem from, right? You don't
Yeah.
even think about that because it just moves very quickly. Because I think the writers knew that. Here's my theory: the writers knew that that wasn't going to work out as well, so they instantly went, "Okay, Nightmare. No, okay, now he instantly has to talk to Batman. Let's get them completely off that topic." So
Yeah.
then, like
I don't know. I
whenever we
think
think back to that
that was
scene,
just
we
an
don't think
over.
about the nightmare. We think about
I
his
don't think it was
Batman
that. I don't think it was
confrontation.
that. The writing is good enough to where I think it was just a simple oversight, and it wasn't like a purposeful decision. It
Maybe,
was, I don't know. But the
but I
point
feel
is,
like someone knew. Someone had to know that like he has a dream about the. I keep saying the Witcher. What the fuck? The Ripper
which,
killing
yeah,
his. He has a nightmare about the Witcher killing his wife, but then he is. Did I say
the
the
Ripper.
Witcher again?
Yeah, you did.
God damn it. He has a
Which,
dream
yeah,
about the Ripper
tales
killing
about
his
yeah.
wife. Shut the fuck up. Toss a coin to your Ripper. He'll kill you in your sleep.
Toss a coin to your
Stop.
Ripper,
Nope.
oh
Nope. You're not
valley
gonna.
of,
Shut the
oh
fuck up.
city of
I don't.
Gotham.
That was horrible. Nope. 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 Go watch the Witcher Honest trailer. It's great. Did you watch the Witcher Honest trailer, by the way?
I did, I did.
You did? Okay, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, no, I think someone had to know, and then someone was like, it's fine," and then they just kept moving on.
Yeah.
Because like
Another
it's insignificant enough for me to ignore it.
Now, I will say another critique is the fact that they play it off as Harvey Dent is planning something, and that's why he's testifying against. But then I think we talked about this, that I think it was just because they were forming this like rivalry between them because they were school kids together, but they
Yeah.
don't have any scene fleshing that out. And it's like if they just had one scene where he was just like, haha, Bruce Wayne, you always beat me in academics, but now I'm the big boy now.
Where he
You're
just
going
like
to jail.
where he shows up to the prison or something for a second. It's just like
Yeah, yeah. But see, that's
you took
another.
Selena from me. I had a chance with her, you idiot. And now
Yeah,
look at you going around having sex with this beautiful woman or some because that's what a lot of it stemmed from jealousy, right? Because of Selena.
I suppose so. But
I
like,
thought
here's the
that's
thing. Here's
why
the
that
thing.
came.
Yeah, maybe, but it's just very unclear, and it maybe leads you to thinking, oh, it might be, he's cahoots with the Ripper, but then it's just
Mhm.
like he never shows up in the movie again. So it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's just
okay,
like the scene with Selena where he's like You're a bloody thought, Mahor. I'm going to go into this office now because I'm a lawyer. Jim
Yes.
Gordon's at the docks waiting to kill you. And that's like the entire thing. I'm like, okay, cool. And that scene sort of like gets you like, what? So he's not the Ripper, or he is he what are you what? Because that's like, I don't know if they're just trying to red herring you again, but like,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Also, my other critique, and it's not really a critique, it's more of like well, I guess it is. They're trying to be like a very detective sort of story, but the
Hmm.
plot is very simple. Like there's no plot
Yeah, yeah.
thickens
There's
moment. It's sort of just boom, boom, boom. Now he knows what to do, right? There's no
yeah,
sort
because
of
you know what they could have done?
what?
You know the scene where you see the old woman looking at Bruce run through the graveyard?
Yeah,
If you took at that scene, I wonder if the impact of that old lady like going up to Bruce being like, "I know what you did," would have more impact.
maybe, maybe.
Because that's where some of my those simplifications stem from, is because they do a lot of like, oh look, there's a person here, oh look at this thing over here, that I'm like, if you do a little bit less of that, then the moment where like a reveal happens, I feel like it would have a little bit more impact.
Right. Now, so with all that said, another thing that I will point out to compare it to, because this is very much framed like a detective story with the whole Hugo Strange, being all mysterious and then just straight up just dying.
Yeah,
Uh,
also side note, the
yes.
fight with Batman and Ripper on the like in
Blimp.
the like, also like Arkham Asylum, the fact that Arkham Asylum just has this pit of psychopaths and then he just throws him down and then they rip him to shreds. I
Huh.
thought it's fucking, it's just so like
Huh.
weird
Guess you
and
could
just
really say Ripper ripped this man.
no, 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 no. I'm
Oh
not letting
God,
him make that
no,
joke.
please, no, please. Okay, anyways, so another thing is let's look at like some other detective story, right? Because that's what
Oh
this is
wait,
trying
wait,
to
wait.
be.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, yeah. Jack the Ripper, Batman fight on the blimp, right?
Yeah.
Badass, badass. And
Yes.
that's the comic book tale of how he got his short ears. Is that he got leaned into a helicopter blade, and then they got cut off. So
Da, da,
he
da, da,
used
da,
to
da.
have 11-foot ears, and then they cut them down. And that's the story of how it happened. Keep going. Detective stories. Keep going.
Right. So a great example is any Tintin story, right? Because Tintin story have this sort of plot thickens thing where Tintin gets a lead on something interesting. He gets curious. He finds something more. And then the plot thickens as the story goes on and everything is revealed at the end. It's a very simple mystery story esque, you know, formula, I suppose. And this
Hmm.
story doesn't really have that. Everything is very linear in the sense that it just sort of happens. There's no moment where you're like, oh, because even Hugo Strange, the fact that the Ripper has a very like the body type of the Ripper is very much
Hmm.
not Hugo Strange, so you know it's not Hugo Strange, but
Yeah.
you're curious. But at the same time, then the Ripper just comes and kills him. So it's like there's no time for the plot to thicken, and that's one of the
And even
greatest
the
things about
Hugo
mystery
Strange
stories.
thing, the Hugo Strange thing is sort of just out of nowhere because it's like
Yeah, it
they
doesn't
hint
lead
that he
anywhere.
knows who Batman is, and we don't really know why. Then also he knows that the Ripper is Gordon, I think, but then we also don't. Is he just a genius with psychological powers or something, or
It
he
really
he's
doesn't lead anywhere. It's there to give you the feeling of the plot
his
thickness, but
doctorate in psychology gives him superpowers into knowing the plot of every movie he's in.
that cue the scene from Thor Ragnarok. Oh, use one of your PhDs.
Yeah. None of them are in flying a spaceship. Proceeds to crash it into
Yeah.
the bridge. Okay, keep going.
Anyways, yeah, so that's what I mean. I think the movie, the fact that it was trying to be a detective story but really lacked that element of just being super like what is going on and you're intrigued to find out more, right? That's the whole thing. Now I'm not saying I wasn't intrigued to find out who the Ripper was, but usually in a mystery story there's so many questions. Look at Knives Out, right? In
Hmm.
Knives Out they tell you who the killer is technically, right? They tell you what happened, but still there are so many questions that are unanswered. That's why you keep watching the movie, right? Because who would have thought that you know you would want to watch a murder mystery when you know what happened, right? There's so many
Hmm.
questions still. And that's the plot thickens element that is so pivotal to all murder mysteries, or just mysteries in general. Think of Scooby-Doo, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, I think that's my whole spiel. I think for me, that's pretty much it that I have to say. Is there any other thing you
I
want to
mean,
say?
I just want to say that I love the idea of them making all these Elseworld things. And
Yes, me
I'm
too.
not going to spoil what my next video is, but I'm going to talk about something in my next video related
Well,
to
I
an
mean, that's
Elseworld.
that's that's the life, isn't it? That's the idea. That's the dream.
Yep.
Talk about something in your next video, but it could be
Yeah.
anything.
No, but these else it's about an Elseworld, and I think people it has no the purpose. The video has no clear purpose. It's just me shilling out about a movie. But
Mhm.
I like that the DC is making these Elseworlds, and I want them to make more. I want them to make a Kingdom Come one, because I hear good things about that story, and I want them to make more shit like that. I know we spent a lot of time after watching this movie about what we would do if we had to make a sequel to this movie. Um,
Mhm.
and I think we both sort of came to a conclusion that like they shouldn't make a sequel to this movie at all, right?
They should not, right? They should
Yeah,
not.
they should
Yes.
not. Where it's like this exists so well on its own, and the ending is like, okay, Gotham is essentially not destroyed, but like they're like, oh, we won't go to Gotham anymore, so they're
Well,
moving
that
somewhere else,
remember,
and it's like,
Gotham isn't the thing that's destroyed. It's the new facility in
yeah,
Gotham. Yeah,
I
yeah.
know, but like he makes it seem as if like, ah, this is the end of Gotham. Guess we'll move somewhere else, and I'm like, okay, cool. But yeah, no, I just I like that this is so like Elseworldy, but it's still so Batman. And I just want them to make more of this. I want them to make like what other Elseworlds could they do a story off of?
Colonial time Batman, medieval Batman, Renaissance Batman, ancient time Batman. I just
But like you
all
can't just make. Can you do like just only those type of a Batman pirate Batman film wouldn't be bad.
he has
I'd
his
watch
crew
that.
of like the Bat family, and it's kind of like a
Yeah,
little
but like make it
Viking
super
almost.
campy or something too, because it's pirates.
I mean, pirates don't have to be campy.
No, you don't. But like it'd be fun. Um, he runs into fucking a version of Treasure Island, but it's DC characters.
Mm,
I would watch the hell out of that. Red Hood and
yeah,
Deathstroke hunting for the Treasure Island. Oh shit! I just pitched a great movie. They're not gonna do it because like the
make it
animated
happen,
movies are
DC. Make
all
it
the animated
happen.
movies are adaptation, so they're not gonna do something that isn't an adaptation. But
Yeah,
a
unfortunately.
red like basically take all your low level thuggy heroes and then just have them on a treasure island hunt. Just have it like Red Hood, Deathstroke, the entire Suicide Squad, because why not? Um, who else? Get fucking the Question in there. I don't know why, but I love the Question. Um, and then last minute Superman comes in and blows the island to Kingdom Come, and that's your
Yeah,
adaptation of Kingdom Come. That was a horrible joke. That's a
you should. I think you should be ostracized from society.
yep.
Anyways,
Anyways,
I think this was a good little mini review, mini
yes. So
podcast
you want to
episode.
rate the movie? Maybe not a rating, but at least like a letter grade or something.
Uh, I don't know about the letter grade. I'll give it a solid 7.
7. That's lower than I expected. I thought you'd give it like a higher grade. Um, I would give it I'd give it an 8.5 because I know you had problems per se with like a lot of those Jim Gordon things, and I didn't have as much of a problem with it, so that bumps the score up. I would even maybe give it a 9. But I can't just give any film a 9. I don't give out A's in my class.
Yeah,
Um,
of course.
but
Yes. I mean, I think that Jim Gordon thing was just legitimately bad writing, like that one aspect of it.
yeah, but then like the twist as a whole works, I think.
I suppose, but it's just like that's such a glaring like that's just like that's like saying That's like if we are trying to find out like the mystery of who is the Batman, and then Bruce Wayne just making a clone of himself and then having Batman. It's like it's just cheating. It's just lying because that's what they did essentially. You
Hmm.
never think Jim Gordon because of that scene, and they're like, oh, it was Jim Gordon the entire time, and then you're like, wait a minute, but that doesn't make any sense. Like as a mystery, that's like really bad. That's
Yeah, they should
incredibly
have
bad.
done something else in that moment, and it'll take me time, but I'll come up with something else to rewrite that specific moment
And
and
then
make
they didn't.
and please your filmmaking soul.
Yeah.
But
Anyways,
what would I give I'd yeah, maybe an 8.5 or so.
I thought you
Because
were gonna
like
say
because as much as I try to find other things that I don't like about the movie, it's hard. I can't really find that much shit that I don't like about it. So
yeah.
good job, DC. Good job, Bruce Timm. Bruce Timm's the same guy that did the Killing Joke. You know, he's the same guy that did the Batgirl Batman thing. Yep, that thing.
Yes.
Anyways, anything else to talk about? I know this is a review, but any other shit going on?
Um,
Super Tuesday happened. Not to get political, but that's a thing.
that's a
I,
thing.
I was like, I was going to comment on it, but then I was like, what is there for me to comment on politics other than that?
It
I
exists.
guess it's either Bernie or Biden now, and I don't
Oh boy, the
stuff me.
plot
Do you want
thickens, some
yeah,
would
do you want
say.
do you want to talk about do you want to talk about the infamous the plot thickens? Are you calling me are you saying it's a fucking video? It's a it's a movie to quote Trevor Wallace.
It's a movie
Politics
movie.
movie.
Ah, yes. And politics is not cinema.
Yep. Martin
the
Scorsese hates
presidential
politics.
the presidential candidates are not cinema,
You could do a good movie off of a presidential election. Like
especially.
you can make a good movie out of the 2016 election.
You know, I don't know if I've said this in any other. I know I've told you this, but I don't know if I've said this in any other video. But back in 2016, I was a wee lad in grade school. Um, and I was telling to my friends, I was like, wouldn't it be just hilarious if Donald Trump gets elected and then proceeds to quit on the first day?
Hmm.
And just it just completely memes on the entire
Yeah, you're just
American
totally broke.
populace and just says, I just wanted to see if you guys would hire a dumbass like myself. And you guys did. And I would have been like, damn, that man, I can respect that man. But then he actually stayed in office and then, I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
no.
Okay. I mean, good for
But
him, I guess.
well, it would have just been Mike Pence, and that would have still sucked. But yeah,
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, who knows? I don't know anything about politics, man. I just
yeah.
get
I
through the
don't
day.
like Trump. Super controversial take. Oh,
See, I dislike Trump for a very different reason than what most like people always just call him like they just end up calling him racist and sexist and blah blah blah. And I don't know. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't.
I just
I
don't
just
like him
think
because
he's
he's not a president. He's not being a president. He's just being a
well. I just think
celebrity in a
he's
seat.
yeah. He's a demagogue, and I
Yeah.
don't like those kind of people in
Yeah.
office.
He took a position of power and now he's abusing it not even as like a oh you're abusing the justice system or anything. You're just abusing it for popularity. And it's like
Yeah, he's
no.
borderline narcissistic. Actually, not even borderline. He just is narcissistic, and I don't think like whether you're a conservative or liberal, which I'm gonna refrain from saying what I am, partially because I don't care, partially because I don't know. But no matter where you are, you have to admit that a narcissist demagogue. Well, I mean that's basically saying the same thing. Having that kind of person in office is not good for anyone. It's not. It's
Mhm.
not. It doesn't matter if you're right or left. It doesn't matter if you're conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican, top down, blah blah blah, left right. It doesn't matter. It's just someone like that in office is it's not terrifying. It's just sort of undermining to your credibility as a civilian or a citizen of a country. It's sort of like it's just unprofessional.
Mhm.
Anyways, that's enough politics for one day.
That's
Scribe is
that.
not going to talk about politics ever again.
Yeah.
That's a lie. Let's end it right there, boys. Hopefully we don't get nuked.
Oh yeah, by the way, incoming nuke from Russia going on. It's
That's
it's
not a
about
nuke.
to land in Metropolis.
That's not
What's
a
that in the
nuke.
sky? Is
That's a
that super?
super
Is that Superman?
Superman.
Is he wearing a
Superman.
is he wearing a gray suit with a weird symbol on it? That's the teaser for the next video, by the way. If you didn't get it, it's
Why is he speaking in a Russian accent? What is this?
wow. Thanks for ruining the surprise.
And then just
Listen,
end it there.
no. I'm gonna have a talk with you right now, and we're gonna have it publicly. You just ruined the surprise for my video by
I
saying
mean,
that he has a
almost.
Russian accent. Excuse me, Scribe, but
Hey,
because of this, and for this reason, I've been holding off all your things, but I have decided to officially fire you from the Film Caffeine podcast. I'm
whew,
sorry, but
sweet.
due to the
Getting.
coronavirus and
Looks
due to
like
a
my
lot of
weekend's getting a lot freer.
yeah, you can spend your time celebrating Spider Month.
Oh God, I'm gonna shoot myself in a day. Anyways,
Everyone
actually, I want to humor that idea, right? So, what if I made a channel on my own, right?
and just
Right?
posted absolute cringe and tried to get popular.
No. Made a channel on my own and like actually like nurtured it like the way you're nurturing this channel, and it just shot up more than yours.
I wouldn't be pissed. I would be extremely jealous, and you would owe me something. I don't know what you would
Why
owe me,
would
but you would
I
owe.
owe you
I don't
something?
care. You owe me something.
I'll collab with you. To get you, I'll make a shout out to my
A
fans that hey,
shout
go,
out. A small
go.
shout out. A small shout out. This is communist. This is Soviet Russia.
We
We
must seize the
share
means
the
of
profits.
production.
We share the fruits that we reap from the fields. We share them. I'm doing a horrible accent.
Soviet Russia, best Russia. In brother Russia, Superman is actually um.
Everyone go watch Superman Red Sun so then you can all watch my video next week or yeah, next week. I don't know when the fuck I'm posting this.
In Mother Russia. Thanks for it,
In,
you.
in Mother Russia, it's actually currently night right now.
Oh,
Midnight.
really? Wait, what?
Yeah.
No. Oh,
It's
yeah, it is. Okay,
yeah.
I don't know why that like went over my head, and I was like, oh yeah, time zones.
You know
That's
what's
right.
funny?
Yeah.
We've been spending like at least the past 5 minutes trying to find an end for this podcast. And every time we don't find an end for the
Just
podcast.
sound the.
So what's the
Just play the
actual
Russian.
end?
Just play the Soviet Russian national anthem.